Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. She's not going after a toy. Welcome to Before the... Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1716. Cross that one off. The Staycation Around the World. So, in case you don't already know, now this is my not for sale resale book. I have a book out that's called Staycation Challenge. And this book is all about getting to know your local town, your local area, and things like that, and different things that you can do, and doing it on the cheap side. So how many things can you find in your local areas that you can do for no more than $20 per person per day? No more than $20 per person per day. That includes your food, your parking, your gas, entry fees, everything. So I thought, let's put a little twist on this. Let's go around the world in our local area. What can we find in our local area that will expand our knowledge of another culture, but also expand our cultural knowledge, as in the arts, the theater, art galleries, theater, museums, that sort of thing. Because sometimes you get museums that are on a particular culture, which can help you understand things as well. And I thought, this is such a great idea. I was actually having a conversation with ChatGPT and said, well, what if we did this? And ChatGPT came back and says, yes, you could call it Staycation Around the World. I went, okay, that sounds good. So hence the name. But we're just brainstorming ideas. Like when I got to stay in Melbourne, Australia for 3 weeks when I lived in New Zealand. The company I was working with, they were transferring their help desk across to the help desk in Australia. So they were consolidating the Australia-New Zealand help desk. Even though, and the poor person who was going to be manning the help desk there had to start at 5 o'clock in the morning local time. And when I was there, we started at 5 a.m. local time, and then we finished at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which was awesome because it basically gave me the rest of the day to go and explore Melbourne. And what I found was that I stayed in a hotel on Little Brook Street, which was like a little studio apartment. You go in, you walk in the door, there's the bathroom on the left hand. Well, in my unit, there was a bathroom on the left-hand side. Then you walk into an open room. The bed is over here. There was a kitchen here. There was a dining area here, and like a living room area as well. And so one half was like the living area. The other half was the sleeping area. And it was close to everything. There was like 5 theaters within a block of where I was staying. Like I would walk out the door, and there was the side entrance into the Princess Theater. You'd go down the corner and go down the corner towards Chinatown, because Chinatown was just a block away. And I'd take a right turn, and there was a theater there that I went and saw Blood Brothers. Across the road from that was one with the Pirates of Penzance. And there was another couple around in that block area that I can't exactly remember what they were called, what they were showing at the time. But I was only a block away from Chinatown, and you go into Chinatown, and every night I had a different cuisine that I could go and try and eat, because there was little Greek, there was little Italy, there was Korea, there were all these different all these different cultures that kind of had like a block, a street down the block. Then you go down there, and there were stores local to there with foods and items from those countries in those stores, and then there were all the eating places as well. So you could have a really good smorgasbord of food from all over the world in a very short space, in a very small space in downtown. This is right in the heart of downtown Central Business District of Melbourne. And it was really cool to be able to walk around these different places and just go to try different cuisines each night. It was really cool. And in Melbourne is very much like Wellington. It's a melting pot of culture. There is a lot of different cultures represented in Melbourne, and in Wellington, New Zealand, there's a lot of different cultures that are there as well. It's a very multicultural. Mind you, New Zealand in a whole is a very multicultural country. I don't remember what they said. The last census showed how many different cultures were living in New Zealand. There was a lot. But then too, when you and then we're going to move across the Pacific and up a little bit to San Diego. They actually have in Balboa Park. They have, and I got to get this right. I got to go to the website to get it right. The House of Pacific Relations International Cottages. And what this is an area in Balboa Park where they have these little cottages, and each cottage represents a different country. And within those cottages, you can go inside and you can learn. And I will tell you this, It's free admittance. They're only open on Saturdays and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. each on Saturday and Sundays. And you can go into these international cottages and you can learn about that country. So hang on, do I still have the map up? Oh, I do still have the map up. So the house of actually let me do that. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this particular one here. Let's see, because it's really cool. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Oh, where did it go? Oh, that's the one I wanted. Okay, so are we showing that on the screen? Yay, we're showing that on the screen. So this is the House of Pacific. It's really, really cool. You can go for a walk through these houses. And like you can see, you've got Mexico, Philippines, Panama, Iran, Puerto Rico, Spain, Hungary, France, Colombia, Israel, Germany, Finland, Ireland. I'd like to go the Irish one and the Scottish one. They're really cool. Turkey, Palestine, Comoros, Peru, India, Korea. So they're in no particular order. These are these little houses, and they're little cottages that you go inside, and it's got foods from that country. You've got some cultural stuff in there. You've got some things that you can learn more about that particular culture. Like if you're going to go visit Scotland, you go to the House of Scotland and you can learn a little bit more about Scotland and some of the things to see and do in Scotland, as well as some of their culture. And this stage out here in the middle in the lawn area, each weekend there's different things happening here on the stage area. Like for the House of Scotland, you could go there one weekend and they're doing Highland dancing, so you get to see the sword dancing, you get to see demonstrations of the Highland dancing. You could go there and so each house will put on something different on the stage each weekend. Like if I remember correctly from the calendar I saw, this weekend I think it's Spain is going to be out there doing whatever they're going to be doing. I don't know what they're going to be doing. The Hall of Nations here are for those places that don't have the cottages. So these are houses without cottages at Austria and Lebanon, and you'll find them in the Hall of Nations International Houses, along with the House of Italy by the looks of it. So this is a really cool place to go. It is absolutely free to go and wander through and go in and out of the houses. You'll learn their history, you'll learn their culture, you'll learn some of them even bring in like cuisine foods that are native to their country. So you get to do some taste testing in that. They also have a food fair an international food fair coming up as well. So there's different, and this is such a really cool place to go visit in San Diego. So if you live in San Diego or you're visiting San Diego and they're going to be there over a weekend because it's only open Saturdays and Sundays, go check this out. It's a really cool place to go. And there's so much that you can learn that you won't be able to get through all the houses in a weekend, because you're going to be stopping and talking to people along the way and asking questions about their country and about their culture. And especially if you're planning a visit there as well, this is a place that you can go and see so that you get to know what to expect when you go and visit. So I'll stop sharing that now. So that's a really cool thing. And I thought, well, what else can we find out? So I went and had a look at the best thing that you can do is go to Google and Google the visitors center, or even just Google things to see and do and put your city name there, or your town name, or your county name. Things to see and do in San Diego, things to see and do in Phoenix. Actually, I put in there things to see and do in Surprise to see what that came up with, to find that they actually have an official guide to Surprise of Arizona. I was like, well, I did not know that. And so I was flicking through it, and it had how you can explore the outdoors, places that have indoor fun, local eats, like the top local eats, early morning bites and late night delights, shopping, arts and cultural experience, Ottawa University, nearby attractions, exploring Arizona, events and happenings, hotels, as well as their Surprise recreation complex as well, and things that you can see and do at the complex. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And Phoenix, of course, also has a visitor's guide too. So I have requested that be sent to me, even though I've had a look at the electronic copy. There's just times I like the paper. It's the feel of the paper. I'm sorry, trees. But it also had that was where is it? Which tab did I put it under? If you live in Phoenix And if you are, have I locked up? I think I might have locked up here. Come on, Google. Come on. All right. I think I'm back. Nope, we're not back yet. My green light's still on, so that's a good thing. But if you live in Phoenix and you belong to the Phoenix Public Library, twice a month, you're limited to 2 times a month. You can go and get a cultural pass for 2 people to go and experience something in Phoenix. It could be an art gallery, it could be a museum, it could be a cultural history place, all these sorts of things. And you can go and get, well, that page just completely collapsed on me. And it looks like we've got very spotty reception here too. I apologize. Oh, here's the cultural pass. Okay, so I'm going to read this off the Phoenix Public Library. You have to live in Phoenix, and you have to be a member of the Phoenix Public Library. So a cultural pass gives a library customer free admission for 2 people at participating arts and cultural institutions. Passes are available on a first come, first served basis. They cannot be renewed, and they cannot be placed on hold. The Cultural Pass program displays are located in each of our locations. Cultural passes are available to check out during library hours. At checkout, staff will give you a date due slip admitting 2 people for 1 visit to a museum or a cultural institution during the following 7 days. So you have 7 days to use the pass. You do not need to return the slip as it expires on its own. Passes may be limited to general admission only, and if the place you're visiting has a special expedition that may not be covered, and other restrictions may apply. So if you're going, like I know that when we went to Papa one time, which is the National Museum in New Zealand and Wellington there, we had to pay to go and see the mummy display. They had these Egyptian mummies that were on display, all about mummification, all about how they do when people would die, how they would wrap them all up and all of that sort of thing. And they had a couple of mummies there for you to have a look at, and environmentally controlled glass cases so you could actually see them. And it was fascinating, but you did have to pay a cover charge to go in and see that. But the rest of the place, you could go wander around, whatever you wanted to do. Customers are limited to 1 pass per family at any one time, up to 2 passes per month. So if you're in the Phoenix area and you belong to the public library and you want to check out something different, go there and see what they've got, and see what you can go and see for free. Because if you're doing a staycation, if you're doing the Staycation challenge, a free pass definitely is within your $20 per person per day per budget. Now, there are some cheats that you can do on your $20 per day per person. If you have an annual pass, you are more than welcome to use your annual pass because it didn't cost you anything for that weekend. So if you think about if you're organizing your weekend, what did it cost you for the weekend? What's it going to cost you to go and visit that? It's not going to cost you anything because you have an annual pass. Fill up with the gas fill up the cars with gas the day before, or plan on taking public transportation, which is another one that you can do. Take public transportation, and which can work out cheaper as well. And then you're not having to pay parking fees. See, there's ways around. The other thing you can do is stock up, is do your grocery shopping before the staycation weekend and pack picnic lunches, because you're not spending money on that day. It's how much money do you spend on that day. So you can actually get ahead a little bit on that one. And then if you've got these things like these cultural passes, go take advantage of them. When we were in Budapest, we went and we got from the hotel, we were able to purchase a 72-hour Budapest card. This little card, I have it around somewhere. I have it with my, I've got a box that has all my cruise room cards in it, with except the Alma Waterways one. We didn't get one of those. We didn't get one as a souvenir. But with the Budapest card, you could use that for 72 hours. It gave us unlimited rides on the metro system, the tram system, the bus system, the train system that goes all around Budapest on both sides of the river. We got some museums and art galleries and things. We had free admittance. Other ones we had a discounted rate to get in. There was discounted shopping rates at different stores as well. We well and truly listed that thing. We went. We're only in Budapest, and we got off the river cruise on Friday morning, and we flew out Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, we were blistering that card up. In fact, even Friday, we were blistering that card up as well. So, the 72 hours fitted us perfectly. We're able to get it. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was like 40 euros for both of us. It was 20 euros per person to get this card. Might have been a little more. Might have been 60. I know it wasn't that expensive for that. And when I thought about it, I thought afterwards, man, we really did get our money's worth out of that one. But look to see if your town or city has these things that you could take advantage of. And it's especially like, if, are you able to get to public transportation easily? And is it easy enough to get around what you want to see and do that weekend during your staycation challenge? Because maybe taking public transportation might be easier for you, because then you're not having to worry about parking a car. You don't have to worry about gas expenses, things like that. So you can definitely do that for under $20 per person per day. And most cities will have like a day pass that you can get for the day, and that's unlimited train ride. Metro ride. Like if you're in DC, it was DC is a really good place because you've got all the Smithsonian. Jeepers, can't talk today. Speaking of DC, you can get the day passes in DC, which gives you unlimited rides on the metro system for 24 hours. And in DC, you have all of the Smithsonian museums that are free entries, and they have and they're all different themes and everything else. So go get lost in the museums and the Smithsonian on the weekends. You'll definitely get a culture fix there. And then you even have the memorials that they have out on the mall as well, where you can go wandering around, and yes, you will get to experience some stuff there as well. I mean, when I was living in the Northern Virginia area, we were only a mile from the metro. The number of times I walked to the metro, got my day pass, because you have to do it after 9 a.m. in the morning, got the day on a weekday, and you have to be back. I think it expires like around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon before rush hour starts. So you can't use it during rush hour period. You can only use it, I think it was like between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., something like that. And so I would walk from where we were living in the apartments to the metro, get on that and go into DC and just go explore. And I would get off at different stops, map out that day. What am I going to go and see and do this day? And I went through a bunch of different museums, galleries. I walk the mall a lot. And believe me, in DC in summertime, it is icky and sticky. It is hot and sticky because it's very, very, very humid. And I was not used to the humidity. And they had this gravel path that goes down either side of the mall there. And it almost felt like you were walking on loose sand, where you put your foot down and it would slide back. So yeah, you didn't seem to, and I couldn't walk as fast as I normally did, which meant I spent more time outside in the heat and the humidity than I wanted to spending time inside. But, look around your place. What is there that you can go and learn? And culture also covers history as well. So maybe it's the history of the area. Maybe it's an area you've moved into. And it's like, well, what's the history of this place? Go find out. Go to a local museum and find out. You never know what you're going to find. There's all sorts of things. And just Google, things to see and do, and put your town name there, your city name there, the county. And you may even find like a visitor center will come up. Go explore. And if you say like a visitor center, awesome. Hop in the car, go down the visitor center and spend some time going through all the different brochures and things to see and do, and explain to the pro. And I will tell you this, the people at the visitor centers that I have been into have always, always been super, super helpful. And when I explain, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to see, this is what I want to do, and I need a plan for it, they actually help me plan several trips into DC. Because I've just moved into the area. I can't do much except sightsee. So what can I sightsee? And, I've got this many days I can come in. I've got, I can get the train pass from between 9 and 3 and that sort of thing. And I was there for probably about 30 minutes to an hour. And I walked out of there with a pile of brochures. And I will tell you this, it was in the Ronald Reagan building. And let me tell you a story about this building. Everything looks the same. And so I got my map and my stack of brochures she'd written information on the cover of each of the brochures that gave me extra information and stuff. It was in my backpack, and I walked out, and then I said, just look, I got to go to the bathroom. Where can I find the bathroom? And so she told me, and she actually counted down the number of hallways I had to go past and where to go to get it. And I tell you, I came out of that bathroom. It was a very nice bathroom too, by the way. Came out of the bathroom and was like, did I come? And I couldn't remember which way to come from. If you are directionally challenged, do not go into Ronald Reagan building. I figured, well, I came down a long hallway, and so I'm going to go back down the hallway. And then it brought me out, and I was in this big open area, and I'm like, oh, where do I go now? I was totally lost. And all I'd done was go from the visitor center in the building down to the bathroom and came out of the hallway, and I'm like, I didn't know where. And usually I have a pretty good sense of direction, but in that building, everything looked the same, or the hallways were the same. And it was just this very, I don't know if it's still that way, but this is back in like 98, 97, 98. Actually 97, it was 97. And I was just so like, I said and I managed to stop somebody who looked like they worked in the building. I said, excuse me. I said, how do I get out of this building? And they just literally turned me, took me by the shoulders, turned me in the direction and said, straight ahead and don't turn. I'm like, thank you very much. And also like, just get me out of the building. I swear I'll never come back in again. And I've never been back in the building since. You can't see this. This is hilarious. She's laying on the floor licking on her toy. Like, I wish I can get a picture of it. Hang on. Picture interlude. One moment. Hey, sweetie girl. Oh, now she's pushed the toy away, so she can't do it. But my dog is laying on she was laying on the floor with her head. Oh, it's the light thing. Trying to get that. Hang on. Turn it off. Oh, that's not even any good either. Laying that. Yeah, you can't really see that. Usually I can get it showing up pretty well on here. Oh, there we go. Her head was the other side of her toy, which is this blue thing here with a little tail thing. And she was laying on the floor just licking on it. Yes. So, hi, I'm back. You sure you can get that show up pretty well. So, go explore your local area and what cultures are represented in your area. Is there a museum for them? Is there a history place? Is there, I found out Phoenix has a Renaissance fair when I was on their site looking at this earlier, and I'm like, oh, when's the Renaissance fair? Oh, it's already been. It started it was every Saturday and Sunday, including Monday for President's Day, from February through to the end of March. And I'm like, damn it, I missed it. I love Renaissance fairs. I don't get all dressed up and everything else. I just go along and have a look and wander around. And the Renaissance period is kind of a really cool period. So, and it's really interesting. Those in costume talk like they were in that period, in that time period. Like they're in costume, they are in character, and it's really, really cool. I do remember that we got, where were we? We were at the Maryland Renaissance Fair one time. Brad and I went to that. And he got this turkey leg. At that point, I had not seen a turkey leg. These things were big. And he's walking around just chomping on this. It was really good. I must admit, it was a very good turkey. I got to have a bite of it. But, Renaissance fairs are another way for different culture. So it's expanding and broadening your horizon, broadening your knowledge on different cultures, different time periods become part of culture as well. What time periods have maybe, and you can think of it from the perspective of your ancestors. I had ancestors that lived through the Renaissance period. What was their life like back then? So going to things like Renaissance Fair will give you a glimpse into their life, what life was like back in the Renaissance period. So to give you a glimpse of their life. If you go to you go watch them doing the jousting and things like that, that is so cool. I love watching them on the horses, and the other activities that they do as well. But I especially like the jousting on the horse and the sword fights too. Those are pretty cool to watch. I know they're all choreographed and everything else, but still, there's just something about watching them. It's like watching the lumberjacks. I just love watching the lumberjacks with their skills with chainsaws and axes. Just astounds me. It really does what they can do with those things. And I know that it's all choreographed, that one team will win and the other. And I got to do axe throwing after my lumberjack experience in Alaska. I know, totally tangent, in Alaska. And I said to the guy, so how do they, and we're talking about we're doing a little behind the scenes talk. I said, so how do they determine which team's going to win? And because it's all choreographed that one team is going to win over the other team. And he says, We literally do a coin toss like 5 minutes before before the show starts. They do a coin toss to decide which team's going to win that day or on that show. And like 5 minutes before, he says, yeah, still give you a lot of time for planning. He says, oh, we've done it so many times that we know what we're doing. And I says, well, not only that, but the caliber of you guys is outstanding. I was looking through the program. You've got world champions in there. You've got world all-rounders in there, and the all-rounders will participate in all activities. And they are of world-class standard, and they're putting on a show for you. And they know how to make it look like they're trying really, really hard. And then they also know how to back off just a little bit to give their opponent the edge that they need to win that event. Yeah. And of course, when it comes to like running on the logs, where you get the two people running on the logs and trying to get the other person off, they already know who's going to fall off. It's how long can they stay up before the person who's supposed to fall off falls off. I see the guy said, have you ever had anything go wrong where the wrong person fell off? He goes, yeah. So, fun things like that. Talk to the people, talk to the exhibitors and things, and find out more about them. And you can find out more about a time period as well. So, but yeah, so Staycation Challenge around the world. What cultures can you find within your local community that have events on? What events do they have coming up? Go to the visitors site. They have lists of events and everything else coming up. If you belong to, is there an association in your town like the what is it? There's an Italian one. Can't think of the name of it, but you could go to the local Italian association. Are they having an event on which they're inviting the public to, where they get to experience, some of the Italian culture? Are they, think of a culture and if you think of one in your town, what ones live in town? Do they have an association? Do they have events coming up where the public is invited to those events, where you get to experience those culture? Like in San Diego at the International Houses, they've got a food festival coming up. I think it's actually like May 4th. I think it is. It's Star Wars Day. That's right. It was Star Wars Day, May 4th. And so they've got an international cuisine experience coming up on May 4th, which is a Saturday. Oh my gosh. It was a Saturday that I bought sparkles too, and sparkles I bought on May 4th. Huh. What do you know? Anyway, total sidetrack. I'm just scatterbrained today. I don't know why. May 4th is a Saturday. Okay. So, they've got an international cuisine thing. So you can go and try different foods from different countries at this food festival. So what things do you have like that going on in your local area? Go look up, things to see and do in your local area. Find if there's a visitor center. Go visit the visitor center if you want, or just browse online to see what they have. But sometimes talking to and here's a thing that I learned years ago. If you go into a visitor center, you're actually talking to a person. And the cool part is that you're not just having to go through this big stand over here that has all these different brochures on and all the different activities and stuff. If you tell the person what you're interested in, they will actually help you find the pieces that you want to do. And sometimes, if I go into we were at the one in Vancouver, I think it was. And we wanted to have an off the beaten path experience we wanted to go Philadelphia. We're in Philadelphia. That's where we were. And Brad had always said whenever we go to Philadelphia that he wanted to have a real Philly cheesesteak. So he goes to the doorman at the hotel and says, okay, we're in Philadelphia for the night. I want an authentic Philly cheesesteak. Where is the best place to go where there's no tourists? And he told us about this little hole in the wall place. And we went there. We had a phenomenal experience, a great Philly cheesesteak. It was really, really yummy. And my mum and dad were with us as well. And so we got to have that experience. When we were in Hawaii back in 2000, for Christmas of 2000, we were there with Brad, his 3 boys, and his mother. So there were 6 of us. And so we were in Hawaii, and we were on the Big Island, and we were heading over to Volcano National Park that day. And Brad's mum was staying behind, so it was just going to be Brad and I and the 3 boys. And so, again, he went to the doorman and says, we haven't had breakfast yet. Where is a good local place to go that we can have breakfast? And the guy says, you got to go to the Hawaiian Cafe. And we're like, the Hawaiian Cafe? He says, yeah. I says, where's that? And he says, just get on the main road as you're heading around. He says you'll come across a strip of stores and you will completely miss it. But and I think it was like in the middle, there's this big bright blue store. And he says you'll blink and miss it, and then you'll realize you've missed it, and you're gonna have to turn around and come back again. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep my eye out for this. And he told us about how long it would take to, about how many miles it was, how the drive time, that sort of thing. And so we're driving along there, and I went, Brad, it's back there. We've got to turn around and go back. We drove past, and I'm like keeping my eyes peeled. I'm looking on each other. But he had told us what's going to be on the left hand. So I'm like looking on the left hand side of the road. And for some reason, I blinked and missed. And I did. I blinked and missed it. But we went back. We had a phenomenal meal. And the amount of food that we had for 5 people could have easily have fed 20. The portions were huge. And it was like $5 a plate. And that was back in Christmas of 2000. So don't know what their prices are like now. They're probably still the same size portions. But they made, one of the boys ordered French toast. I kid you not. These things were like an inch thick of toast, of this French toast. And there was about 6 slices on this thing with all that syrup and powdered sugar. And yeah, they were huge. So anyway, go see what is in your local area that you could do that will expand your knowledge of a different culture. Pick a culture. Are you going on an international trip soon? Are you going to go to a country? Do you want to learn more about that country? What can you find in your local area where you can go to learn more about the country from somebody who is of that descent or from that country? So like in San Diego, it's pretty easy. You just go along to the international houses on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you can talk to people and find out different things to see and do, and go, what is your favorite? And always ask this question: what is your favorite place to go in your country that the tourists don't know about? So that gets you off the beaten path and in with the locals. So go check that one out and pick up a copy of Staycation Challenge. It's on Amazon because that will give you some ideas in there as well. So that's it from us for this week. Go expand your cultural knowledge. Yes. And it could be going to the art gallery and looking at some of the artists from around the world. Some of them have some very interesting exhibits on. And remember, go to your local visitor center, find out what's on the event calendar that's coming up. Look up associations for different cultures to see if they have got any events coming up that are open to the public. And just go learn about a new culture. And especially if you're going overseas, like if you're going to go to Italy, find the Italy Association and go talk to people who are from that country and find out the really cool local places to go. That's one thing that I love about sending people to New Zealand, is because I've traveled so much of the country and I've lived, 13 different places from one end to the other. I've visited probably about 95% of the country I've seen. And when I send people down to New Zealand and stuff, I'm taking them off the beaten path. Yes, they may want to go see some of the local sites and things, some of the tourist attractions, but then most of them that go down there, they want to experience the culture. They want to get off the beaten path. They don't want to go to the tourist spots. And so we make it happen. It's just as simple as that. Anyway, that's it from me for tonight. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.